Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the Swan Song event, in which the Swanmay is added to the game. So as far as this troop, it comes in with yellow, red arcanes. It is a epic, so it comes in for the cheapest they ever can be obtained for, 200 glory each, so good time to stock up if you still need the arcane. As far as your troop itself, it is pretty much not really going to be usable, very situational, maybe on some kind of really heavy lycanthropy team once we have pretty much every single lycanthropy troop this season. Though even then, I'm pretty sure this isn't really going to get too much usage, but it'll have its niche purposes. But anyways, it gives 3 mana to all other allies for each lycanthropy gem on the board, and then converts all yellows to skulls. So this is all other allies, so she doesn't end up doing it to herself. But if you have some like 5 lycanthropy gems on the board, it would end up doing 15 mana to all other allies, not specifically to herself. This is kind of similar to Tulio, except it doesn't end up doing it to itself. And in the case of Tulio, they all have to be the same color, whereas in this case, it can be different colors. The biggest issue with this, of course, will be the inconsistency of actually having a lot of lycanthropy gems onto the board, as well as the annoyance of having a lot of lycanthropy gems on the board. So for the most part, she's pretty much not going to be used. But if you're running like a pure lycanthropy team of some sort for whatever reason, she might be used. But aside from that, there really isn't any instance you'd bother bringing this thing out. And of course, it has that standard lycanthropy gem thing, and pretty much nothing else really going for it. And the fact that it doesn't mana accumulate back into itself makes it quite a bit worse than quite a few other yellow reds, like a Divinia or something like that, that can easily end up accumulating it for itself and everything else. And overall, just isn't really going to be used, and is so situational that it will barely ever be able to come out. As far as other stuff, don't forget, if you still want to get the really bad mythic that came in last Friday, though it is still a new mythic nonetheless, and pretty much just as bad as the other mythic from the kingdom. But if you still want to end up getting this, you still have a couple days. You have until Friday reset, so just a few more days to end up getting that. So definitely make sure to do so if you want to get it from the Glory Gem Guild or VIP chest drop table, as after that, you're pretty much going to have to get it through diamonds or event keys when the event rolls back around. As far as extra stats, we do have 10% to all Suncrest and 10% to all Strix. This is somewhat noteworthy because once again, we have a 20% week where the faction on Tuesday we will have 20% additional stats for, as of course the player will gain quite a bit more from the 20% extra stats than the AI will, since you can normally get a few hits in more than the AI, meaning that their 20% durability isn't as useful as your 20% higher damage. But yeah, it ends up making pure faction quite a bit easier. It's also one of those factions where it can pretty much be done without potions, so worth considering doing that before the Tuesday event, and then if you don't end up getting it by then end up doing it for potions on Tuesday. But it's definitely one that I would give a good attempt to try to do without potions, as it's definitely doable. And if you want to farm a little bit of glory, well, it's not really that efficient compared to just doing gnome events and stuff like that. You do get 5 additional glory if you want to use this useless troop onto your team and mess around with its mana accumulation. As far as the event key drop table this week, it is mostly a skip, though there is, of course, one mythic within the drop table that you might want to consider getting, and that is Phoenicia, though do keep in mind there are 3 mythics within the drop table: Phoenicia, Quetzalma, and Zelapachli. Zelapachli is pretty much useless. Quetzalma is kind of average, though if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time it is in the event key drop table since its release in the season pass. So if you are playing free to play, this is a really great opportunity to go get Quetzalma if you didn't end up getting it from the season pass or weren't around during the time. But of course, the main thing you'd want to try to get is Phoenicia. Overall, I'd probably skip on the event key drop table this week. Also because if you are even looking for Phoenicia, the chance you specifically get her, very unlikely. If you needed both Phoenicia and Quetzalma, it might be worth it. But if you only needed one or the other, probably not worth it due to the fact that there's 3 mythics and the chance of you getting the exact one you need, not that likely. Some things to note, there are 6 troops here that are not actually available in the event key drop table. These include, of course, the 5 from Stone Song Aerie, which are from the Stone Song Aerie faction. The other 2 include the Doom of Light, which of course are only from Yellow Dooms. And the last one is the Sun. The Sun is not in the event key drop table. The only way to end up getting this is from the Vault key drop table out of pure luck. It is indeed in the Vault key drop table. It sure probably doesn't seem like it is because how low its chance is. However, do keep in mind, while it isn't in the event key drop table, in the Vault key drop table where you can end up getting this, it is likely going to be required for the Sun and Moon. We're getting the Moon this season, and we're going to have something likely to craft at the end of the season, likely a Doom troop, or boss troop, the 3rd one being added to the game. So that will require the Sun and Moon, though do keep in mind it is not in the event key drop table, but it is in the Vault key drop table, and has been for quite some time, even though it's been hiding very well. But anyways, overall, probably skip unless you really want to try for the mythics. But overall, definitely a skip-worthy kingdom otherwise. unless you're just trying to get stars, though. It is 1 star short of 20 star. You did get 1 additional star this week, of course, but not enough to get all the way over. Anyways, as far as weekly events, of course, we have a world lore event. As far as this event, it's pretty straightforward as far as scoring. Just do rarity order. However, you do get more points when you do the same room. So in the case of the epics, if you're seeing more than one than the other, then you might want to just focus on that one. For example, I see 3 Harpy Mages here, so I'll want to focus specifically more so on the Harpy Mages than on the Strizhik, as you do get additional points for doing the exact same room more often. But aside from that, pretty much just rarity order, and you'll be good to go. That's all you would really need to do. Unfortunately, there is one caveat to this event that will make it very annoying, and that is, of course, we have only skull damage. These are, of course, the most annoying ones, with the least annoying being having both skull and spell damage, and the kind of mid-range one being spell damage, which normally is enough to win, but having skull damage only, definitely pretty inconvenient in most situations. As far as we have to build around, you'd pretty much want to use any of the skull spammers that are available. Angry Mob, if you want to use it as a mana accumulator, could be done, but compared to Marilith, you're likely going to use Marilith, Harpy Mage, and stuff like that instead. Main reason being that you likely want to use Mang or Earth's Fury as your increase to attack, so you could definitely one-shot everything. And Angry Mob, of course, has the exact same mana color, and would be a little bit inconvenient to try to do. Of course, if you do have it, Lord of Slaughter is probably going to be your best friend for this event, just because of how much damage it could do, gain most of its mana back, and kind of just go crazy. It would also be able to basically one-shot absolutely everything off of its final trait, though it's generally not good to use in first slot, as it will die very, very quickly, so you kind of want to have something that can barrier on Browns in first slot, using one of the hero classes, so you can stay nice and safe. Either Titan, Sentinel, or any of the other hero classes that barrier every single time you take a Brown. I basically just want to put a bunch of skull spam there, maybe something for attacking. Obviously, at least 1 mana accumulator, Harpy Mage being a really good option for that, or Marilith or Angry Mob, all really good options. And you pretty much just go from there and just try to kill them all with skull damage. That is pretty much the premise. Very annoying, but not the most annoying one that we've had so far. So overall, not too bad. Anyways, as far as other stuff that we got going on this week, Tuesday we got Swan Song Airy. Overall, pretty easy faction to end up doing. The Zachi there, or whatever her full name is, I can't remember. The brown-yellow that hits all enemies. Pretty good option. You can pretty much just kill the entire thing with that. You have an instant kill option as well, so if you really need a backup plan, you can end up clearing it out with the instant kill. One other thing that's pretty nice is you can constantly keep spamming Harpy Mage resummon. So you could basically just use a Harpy Mage in first slot and constantly reuse it as a resummon and have an infinite tank. So overall, really easy faction. Anyways, as far as Wednesday, we get a monster pet. This one's been in the game for a while, but if you haven't gotten to max, more copies. Thursday, we have Stormcaller class event. Stormcaller, pretty good hero class, mostly used for Perpetual Yellowstorm. However, you can have Perpetual Yellowstorm without even having it leveled at all. So, yeah, it doesn't really gain too much benefit from being leveled. But it is pretty good with Nimbus Bow, and Nimbus Bow is in Soulforge this week. And on Friday, we're going to be having an arena event, just a standard arena event with the useless wards that it always has. So, there's that. Fortunately, nothing too good going on with that. Anyways, as far as the Soulforge itself, there are pretty much only 1 mythic that you would probably consider getting this week, if any at all. And that is Mother of Darkness. Mother of Darkness is, of course, really good in a pure rogue team with Rope Dart and that one Night Spider. Ends up having some really good synergy. And then you just use the 50% mana start rogue with it, and you're pretty much good to go. Really strong PvP team, still my favorite in the entire game. This used to be a useless troop, but ever since that Night Spider came into the game, it has become exceedingly viable. Aside from that, I pretty much skip on everything else that is available this week. And as far as weapons, there is one particular weapon that, if you're going to get anything from Soulforge this week, is probably the thing to end up picking up, and that is Nimbus Bow. You probably hear me mentioning it quite a bit over the course of every year, mostly because the triple finesse Nimbus Bow team, while you can put other weapons there, Nimbus Bow is the best in slot for that team, and is highly advised to have for that. There's a few other strict synergies, but the triple finesse into the Nimbus Bow tends to be the main way that you tend to use the weapon. And overall is a pretty nice team. It's also very affordable, especially if you just get your hands on Nimbus Bow, which is available this week. The only other thing you need is 3 commons that you pretty much get automatically just by opening your seals every single week. So really easy, cheap, accessible team that is highly effective. So definitely make sure to pick up Nimbus Bow, as it's the main way to make the team work even better. Of course, it doesn't require it to work, but definitely helps out a lot. And you just end up doing that with Stormcaller hero class with the Perpetual Yellowstorm, and the yellow just feeds right into the finesses, and then the finesse is infinite into all the damage you ever need. Ends up working out pretty nicely. But yeah, definitely make sure to pick up Nimbus Bow if you're going to get anything from the Soulforge this week. Anyways, aside from that, let's go over all of the many teams that we have going on. So, as far as teams, let's start from the top. This one we kind of already saw a little bit earlier, but you can end up running Lord of Slaughter and kind of just destroy everything. Pretty much just building an entire team around Lord of Slaughter is likely your best bet, assuming you own Lord of Slaughter. A cheaper team, you can still use Mang up front and then have a bunch of mana accumulation behind, like Marilith and Harpy Mage, which are nice cheap options. And then have something like a Fist of Zorn, which if you haven't fully traded, can end up empowering into a nice Skull Convert. If you do need some cheaper options, Fist of Zorn can be replaced with Corrupted Urskea, or the Corrupted Urska. And the Marilith can be end up replacing with Angry Mob, which will be mana blocked, however, it is cheaper than a Marilith. Harpy Mage doesn't really have a replacement, however, you pretty much get a copy nearly for free tomorrow. So if you don't have one, just get it off the Storm Song Airy faction event tomorrow for, I think, like 90 gems. I think you get your first copy of it. So if you don't have the shards to go throw it at the faction, you can easily get it pretty easily tomorrow. So if you'd already have it, no reason to not pick it up tomorrow, and kind of just wait till then if you want for the world event then, if you're lacking it as an option. Aside from that, as far as killing out the faction that we have going on tomorrow for the Tuesday faction, Stone Song Airy, it is a brown-yellow restriction, though of course you're allowed to use any weapon. Weapon pretty much doesn't matter here, mostly did phylactery to not block, and hey, free souls. But this is just a pretty standard Guard's Avatar quick kill. It's kind of like a Rowan quick kill with Rowan into Mirage Queen. However, this is the more expensive alternative version when you're color locked outside of it. It's basically same premise. Guard's Avatar boosts based on armor, one-shots everything. Sir Quen Hadley gives a half mana start, and you pretty much just get it up immediately using Harpy Mage. Assuming you have the enchant on it, it ends up automatically having full mana on second turn, which is why it doesn't matter if it's fully mana blocked. You then mana accumulate on second turn, basically a second turn in power, and that gives Guard's Avatar full mana, and then you win. And hopefully you get a free phylactery, so you get free souls. But that's pretty much that. And if you're looking for something that goes all the way, hey, finesse, triple finesse Nimbus Bow. So, yeah. This, of course, is a pretty standard team, pretty cheap team. Runs through every faction that can end up using yellow. Not necessarily the most efficient thing to do compared to Iron Gut and other options, but is definitely the cheapest you could really get. 3 commons with a weapon that's available this week, so even more accessible than normal. Though other weapons can be used there, but Nimbus Bow might as well end up getting, as it's really good synergy. Anyways, aside from that, pure factions, this was the thing I was talking about earlier where you can use Zachi. Queen Zachi was her name. I forgot the first part, but just Queen Zachi. But basically, she has a chance to summon, a really high chance to summon, a Harpy Mage whenever she does an extra turn. You have 3 35% chances. The chance that you don't end up getting a summon there after 2 extra turns is very exceedingly unlikely. So you basically have infinite Harpy Mages up front. Obviously, this allows you to tank. It does all your mana accumulation. The 75% only happens the first time, though, of course, at the beginning of battle. It does not end up doing it every single time when it revives, which would be pretty cool, but it doesn't do that. But overall, obviously, you mostly use this as your mana accumulation, where your Queen Zachi is also mana accumulating and doing the good bulk of the damage by hitting everything at once. And with 20% extra stats, that'll be even easier to end up doing this time around. And you can just set it to a bunch of magic. And of course, if you are running on Tuesday, you'll have a billion magic as well from all the potion effects, which will make it even easier. And aside from that Stormcaller class event, you can just end up running with any yellow AoE weapon just by running triple into Airlink. Pretty standard, just AoE kill. In this particular instance, of course, Dawnbringer, the pretty much only useful, or the only like end game usefulness to Dawnbringer. There are a few other instances here and there, but yeah, Dawnbringer definitely worth picking up. If nothing else, it is the Thursday class event killing weapon pretty consistently. Is generally one of the best in slot, if not best in slot for it. And you can just do Frost Mage with it to gain a little bit additional damage. Aside from that, since Mother of Darkness is in the Soulforge, figured I show the Night Spider team. Most of you are probably already aware of this, as if I'm ever doing PvP on stream, I am pretty much always using this team, but I figured I'd post it again. It's Rope Dart, which was available about a month or 2 ago, Night Spider, Mother of Darkness, and Captain McCall. Rope Dart is set to Corsair, so you end up getting the Rogue synergy there. And Rope Dart's mostly just to, of course, alpha the extra blue. You just keep entangling them and messing up their team as far as order, so they can't really do anything, and has automatic extra turn, which works really well. Night Spider puts his whole team together. Not only does it have stealthy, but it gains 3 blue and purple per every single rogue on your team, and since the entire team is rogues, you end up getting a lot of gem creation, 15-15. So, yeah, it's quite a bit of value, and will generally land extra turn. It also feeds mana to itself if that wasn't already enough mana. So not only does the purple feed back into itself, but the blue feeds into Rope Dart, Mother of Darkness, and literally everything that isn't itself. Though you don't tend to really cast Captain McCall. It does have an auto kill to submerge, but you mostly use him for his 50% mana start, And of course, the main components, Mother of Darkness has the stealthy synergy. Also has some bleed, which can get a little bit extra damage, though you're mostly using it for its ability. While it's not the greatest of abilities, it does end up creating purple, and this is pretty relevant because it feeds purple back into Night Spider, and the Night Spider feeds blue back into Mother of Darkness, as well as into itself with purple, and you basically just keep doing it back and forth where you feed purple back into Night Spider feeds blue back, and you just keep going back and forth, and you can infinitely spam the Night Spider. So basically, you can infinitely spam everything! It's not a true infinite like Truffle, but it's pretty close. It gets the job done. But, yeah, pretty effective team. Definitely worth considering if you have the resources for Mother of Darkness and been meaning to end up making it a team. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for this week. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Of course, in the description will be all the teams that we just mentioned if you want to end up copy-pasting any of them. Anyways, hope you all have a wonderful week. Best of luck if you're still going to be trying for the Mythic before the Friday. And I will catch all of you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.